Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 66. Today we're headed back to Furthwacht to collect our pay, but it looks like we've been intercepted by a House Rosenving patrol. Apparently they're a little upset about losing 2 cities in a single day. Alright, looks like we're up against a company of 15 noble soldiers. Nothing we can't handle. At this point, we know the main threat are those crossbowmen in their back row. Wojtek starts us off, piercing a crossbowman's ear. Potato doesn't have a clear shot at the moment, so he holds his fire. We've got enemy footmen closing on our front line. Nothing to worry about. There's the enemy banner bearer. Roderick is up. Let's get this started. Roderick advances, drawing his greatsword. And he impales 2 soldiers, one through the arm and one through the leg. The enemy pikemen have started advancing, and they've left themselves open again. That definitely makes a pretty tempting target. Okay, we'll risk moving up to meet them. I got moves up. Cleaving into a soldier's arm with his axe. Vlad moves up as well, killing the badly maimed footmen. Dominic advances into the enemy pole armors. He readies his dagger, then impales a billman through the hand. Kazarin moves up as well, meeting a footman on the south flank. He slips past his target's shield, impaling the man through the leg. Reinhard moves up, keeping House Rosenving soldiers contained on the north flank. He stabs another soldier through the hand. Whoops, well, I got a bit careless and Potato just lost an ear. Okay, well, Potato won't survive another hit. We'll have him take one quick shot, then he needs to fall back. Nice, he takes down the crossbowman who shot him, puts a second arrow through another crossbowman's eye, then decides to push his luck, killing the one-eyed crossbowman. Henry moves up, providing some much-needed cover. And moving into round 2. Our archers are up. We've got a crossbowman out in the open, but Wojtek can't quite reach him. He lands a few glancing hits on the pikemen instead. Alessandro fatally wounds the crossbowman, then lands another glancing hit on the pikeman. Mark continues firing into the cluster of pikemen. He kills a wounded pikeman, and lands a glancing hit on another. The enemy banner bearer just rallied them. He'll be our next priority target. We've taken out all the crossbowmen at this point, so Henry can move up. Igod impales a footman through the shoulder. Before finishing him off with a deft strike of his dagger. Oswald finally gets a chance to fight back. Though it is a bit risky. Well, I guess we'll take our chances. He swaps off to his greatsword. But he doesn't land the hit. Kazarin impales a footman through the arm. then bounces 2 more attacks off the man's shield. Vlad cleaves open a pikeman's midsection. Potato lands a glancing hit on another pikeman. Dominic impales a wounded pikeman through the arm, then kills him with a follow-up strike. Reinhard continues to hold the north flank. But he's having a hard time landing any hits. Round 3. Wojtek starts our barrage, landing a glancing hit on a footman and piercing a billman's chest. Sergeant Baggins lands another light hit on an increasingly wounded footman. Mark puts an arrow through a pikeman's neck, but that doesn't stop the pikeman from landing a moderate hit on Oswald. He weathered it pretty well, but we'll need to keep an eye on him. Igot takes stock of his opponent, then switches off to his great axe. Before cleaving the man's chest open, the footman understandably goes on the defensive. Potato cuts down a wounded billman. Roderick readies his greatsword, then cuts through the enemy ranks, killing one man and cleaving another man's ribcage open. He's nearing exhaustion, but he boldly advances deeper into the enemy formation. Oswald tears through the ranks as well, killing a footman and slicing through a pikeman's leg. Exhausted, he switches off to his shield and dagger. Kazarin squares off against 2 foes. He impales one through the chest, breaking the man's morale, but then fatigue gets the better of him. Dominic advances, killing the last of the pikemen and shattering the enemy's morale. He quickly moves to block off their escape. The rest of the raiders start advancing, locking down the few remaining enemies. Moving into round 4, it's almost over. Our archers advance and fire through the ranks. Wojtek puts an arrow through a footman's shoulder. Henry tears into a wounded footman, then finishes him off with his dagger. Vlad slices the enemy bannerman's arm down to the bone. Igot brutally kills the enemy banner bearer, then turns and kills a footman as well. The rest of our company begins converging on that unfortunate enemy soldier. And Roderick puts him down with one more dagger strike. That fight didn't go as smoothly as I would have liked. Potato will be sidelined until his ear heals. But at least he tied with Roderick for MVP. The loot is about what you'd expect, the usual mix of mid-tier armor and weaponry. I'll definitely be taking the gold and supplies, and I'll pick through the rest of this off-screen. And welcome back. We're still headed back towards Furthwacht, but once again we've been intercepted, this time by a particularly bold group of bandits. Wow, right off the bat here, I cannot say I'm a fan of this terrain. And I'm definitely not a fan of having enemy crossbowmen in elevated positions. That's going to be a problem. We can also see the bandit leader back there, Sigvold the Ox. Okay, our bowmen are up. Let's see if we can pick some of these guys off. Bunny starts us off, piercing a bandit's side. Wojtek lands a glancing hit on another bandit. Unfortunately, we weren't able to wound any of the enemy marksmen. Sigvold and several of his men are advancing along the valley. Roderick leaps forward, tearing through the bandits, cleaving open one of their rib cages. Oswald starts advancing on the south. Igod advances on the north, practically gutting a bandit with his great axe. Dominic advances. Vlad moves up behind him, killing the gutted bandit with his billhook. I'd like to have Kazarin move up the cliff as well, but someone needs to stop Sigvold and his men from reaching our archers. Reinhard advances on the north, impaling a bandit through the hand, then stabbing him in the leg as well. Henry moves up, but he can't reach anyone from the bottom of the slope. Round 2. The bandits still have the high ground, so we may take a few hits here. Wojtek just took a glancing hit. Fortunately, he weathered it pretty well. One bandit rushes up to engage Bunny, and Fox promptly rewards him with a couple of arrows. Bunny quickly ducks back, then puts a third arrow through the bandit's face. Oswald takes a light hit to the helmet. Wojtek starts moving up to higher ground, then puts an arrow through a crossbowman's chest. Oh, Sigvold is on the southern cliff now. I could have sworn he was on the road. Well, that's fine. We'll just need to move more of the raiders to the south. Henry just finished off the bandit that was threatening our archers. Igod decapitates one of the bandits on the north, then continues advancing. Oswald squares off against two foes on the south. He cuts one of them down with his greatsword. Roderick moves up, decapitating another bandit, then advancing into the enemy marksman. Kazarin holds the road, impaling a bandit through the hand and leg. Vlad moves up, shredding a bandit's arm with his billhook. Dominic continues advancing on the north. Reinhard stabs the one-armed bandit through the shoulder. Round 3. Wojtek takes another glancing hit from an enemy crossbowman. We might need to pull him back. Sigbold the Ox squares off against Oswald the Reaver. At this point, we really need to get our archers onto higher elevation. Kazarin just took a light armor hit. Washtek decides to hold his ground, putting an arrow through a bandit bowman's lung. Unable to find an opening, Henry switches off to his dagger and shield, then moves up alongside Oswald. Vlad and Roderick finish off the last of the bandits on the north, then begin circling around towards the bandits on the south. Oswald and Kazarin continue holding the bandits in place, waiting for the rest of the raiders to back them up. Moving into round 4. The enemy marksmen are starting to panic. Oswald takes 2 more light armor hits. Oof. Sigbold carves through Oswald's helmet with his military cleaver, causing a light bleeding injury. Alessandro puts an arrow through the enemy crossbowman's arm. Bunny puts an arrow through his leg as well. And Wojtek finishes him off. Oh, and he kills the other marksman as well. Kazarin is still holding 2 bandits on the road. He'll get some reinforcements in a moment. Dominic rushes up to support Kazarin, stabbing a bandit in the back. There's still 1 bandit in the valley, but he's broken. Roderick starts moving along the valley as well. Oswald disembowels Sigbold's bodyguard, but he's thoroughly exhausted at this point. The rest of our brothers start moving to support Oswald and Henry. Round 5. At least a few of Sigbold's men are fleeing the battlefield. At this point, our archers will open fire on Sigbold. It's not worth preserving his armor if we lose Oswald in the process. Wojtek cuts down the bandit next to Sigbold, then lands a glancing hit on Sigbold as well. Agat continues east, keeping an eye out for fleeing bandits. Henry moves up, engaging Sigbold. Roderick pierces a bandit's side. Then Dominic pierces the bandit's chest and kills him with a follow-up strike. At this point, Sigbold is broken, so all we really need to do is surround him and cut off his escape. the raiders begin converging on Sigbold. And I guess Oswald will fall back towards the archers. He could really use some bandages. Round 6. Sigbold's men continue to flee. Our archers move up to meet Oswald. The rest of our brothers continue harassing Sigbold the Ox. Kazarin pierces Sigbold's hand. Then Henry lands a glancing blow as well. Reinhard moves up, cutting off Sigbold's escape. Moving into round 7. Vlad tears into Sigbold with a flurry of strikes, piercing his arm, putting him on the brink of death, and finishing him off with one final blow. There's just one more bandit on the field at this point, and he's already fleeing, so we'll just cycle through the rest of our brothers and let the battle end. There we go. Looks like Dominic just hit level 10. And MVP goes to Vlad and Wojtek, who each got 3 bandit kills. Good work, guys. The loot's nothing to write home about, but it does look like we got Sigbold's helmet. That's something. Oh, and it looks like we got his military cleaver as well. Alright, so we got something out of the fight. We'll take a moment to poke through the rest of this loot, then we'll continue heading back towards Furthwacht. Count Halston von Rabenholt welcomes you to his war room. A group of commanders linger around a map on a table. You watch as they push one of their tokens over Torvaholm. Count Halston von Rabenholt grins. Those men may not let it slip, but we are mighty happy about the work you've done. The stories my spies have brought me ensured I did not make a poor investment with the likes of you. The nobleman personally gives you a satchel of crowns. Alright, that nets us 5,000 gold. I think that might actually be our biggest payday yet. Unfortunately, Furthwacht doesn't have a tavern, so we can't properly celebrate. I guess it couldn't hurt to take a look at that contract. Looks like this is a greenskin contract. That's unusual. That actually might mean the noble crisis is right on the verge of ending. The pay is reasonable, and our men could use a chance to recover. We'll take the job. Oh, and it looks like this will be taking us back towards Torvaholm. That's a good excuse to poke around enemy territory. Maybe we'll finally find a band of hostile mercenaries to fight. At any rate, we'll head over to Weedmark to bandage our wounds and do some resupplying. Then I guess we're headed back towards Torvaholm. Welcome back. We're headed back into enemy territory, but on the way there we ran into a flock of Noxerer, so I guess we're winding down with a nice, easy fight. Wow, 27 Noxerer. Well, that is a lot of Noxerer, but honestly, at this point I think it's pretty clear these things don't actually pose any significant threat to us. They're fun to kill, and it does give us some easy XP. But in the future I might need to start glossing over battles like this one. There's just not really much to say. We hack and slash our way through a bunch of bloodthirsty ghouls, a few corpses get eaten, one of our brothers gets swallowed whole, and then we emerge victorious with a handful of teeth for our trouble. I'll have to give it some thought. At any rate, our archers are up, so let's start thinning out their numbers. Fox takes down our first Nazzul. Bunny takes down another, then shoots a third Nazzul through the knee. Alessandro kills the wounded Nazzul. Then Mark gut shots and kills a fourth, before shooting a fifth one through the kidney. Rowan shoots a Nazzul through the face. The rest of the raiders begin advancing to cut the Nazzul off from that fresh batch of corpses. Retcon stabs a ghoul through the chest. Reinhard kills a wounded Nazzul, then advances over its body. Rondis moves up, then stabs a Nazzul through the hand. Janos moves up. Belfontaine moves up. Woe moves up. And moving into round 2. The Nazzul start flocking around our position. There's a few scattered shield hits, nothing to worry about. Rondis took a light armor hit. And we're back up. Let's kill these things. Fox kills a Nazzul, then shoots another one through the shoulder. Bunny kills 2 more Nazzul. Alessandro cuts one down as well. Rowan shoots a Nazzul through the arm. Woe cleaves a Nazzul open, then finishes it off with his dagger. Mark cuts down 2 more Nazzul. Retcon kills a ghoul, then savages another, piercing its hand and shoulder. Belfontaine kills a Nazzul, then moves up and puts his dagger through another ghoul's throat. Kazarin spears a ghoul through the chest and shoulder. Reinhard kills a Nazzul, then stabs another one through the throat, and kills it with his final strike. Rondis kills a Nazzul, then moves up and stabs another ghoul in the face. Janos stabs a Nazzul through the chest and face. Moving into round 3, just 10 more ghouls to go. Hey, one of the Nazzul actually managed to power up. Good for him. Rowan kills a wounded ghoul, then he reloads and shoots another ghoul through the shoulder. Fox fires into the flock, cutting down 3 more ghouls. Woe finishes off 2 more Nazzul on the south. Bunny cuts down 1 more Nazzul, and now our archers are out of open targets. Retcon moves up, stabbing one of the last ghouls in the chest. And Belfontaine quickly finishes it off, before moving up and slicing off another ghoul's ear. Kazarin moves up, readying his dagger, and killing the one-eared ghoul. Reinhard savages the last of the Nazzul, putting it on the brink of death. And Jano strikes the final blow. Looks like Fox is MVP with 5 Nazzul kills. And as usual, our reward is a big pile of teeth. We'll sell them off in Dornan, and then we'll pick up here next time as we continue our journey back towards Torvaholm. Hey, RetconRaider here. I'll admit, this session did feel a bit like a filler episode. While we did end up taking an injury or two, I don't think any of the opponents we were up against ever really stood much of a chance against us. But I guess even the raiders have an easy day every once in a while. At the very least, we did wrap up our previous contract and pick up a new one, so we're still making at least a little forward progress. We're also racking up an awful lot of gold and experience points, which is nice, but hopefully we'll find some more challenging battles in the future. Next time, we'll be heading back behind enemy lines. While our primary goal is to wipe out an orc stronghold, we'll also be keeping our eyes open for any other potential targets of opportunity. I know we passed at least a few other strongholds on our way back to Furthwacht, so maybe we'll stop by a few of those. I'd also like to take out at least a few more knights before the war is over, and if we're really lucky, we might even run into a group of enemy mercenaries. If we can't clear that ambition by the time we've finished our current contract, I'm just going to dump it. That way we'll be able to focus on finishing the Noble Crisis instead. At any rate, this is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website or the fan-run wiki. Links are in the description.